Busy is worthless. Busy can mean you're doing your laundry all day and you're scrolling on Instagram. Busy is usually wasting time. Busy is you talked to 3 people on the phone today and 2-minute conversations turned into 45-minute conversations. So you were busy. You felt busy. Effective means you accomplished the goals that you set for the day. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm John Darden, and this is the Elite Realtor Experience, a podcast dedicated to agents ready to take the next step in becoming elite. Before we jump into today's podcast, I just want to give a shout out to those of you who listen to this, who engage with this, who engage with me on email, john@johndarden.com. You hit me up on Instagram. We have real estate conversations. I'm grateful for you. I've said this before, our community is growing. It's growing slowly, and I'm totally cool with that. The end of the day, the whole point of this podcast is to help you in your business, to get you a result, to help you grow your income, to help you find more ready, willing, and able buyers and sellers, to have more balance of life if that's important to you. All of the things. And I hope that this continues to be something that is beneficial for you. If you're going back through podcasts, if it's 3 years from now and you're finding this one for the first time, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging with me. My hope is that I can help you add more income into your bank account, find more ready, willing, and able buyers and sellers, be a better realtor, real estate professional. So just want to start off by saying thank you. Now, today, let's get somewhat tactical, and I even have sort of notes today. I say sort of notes because, like, if you're looking, there's not really even that much. I'm not much of a notes guy. We hit record, I have a topic, and we kind of see where it goes. Today, probably need to be a little bit more tactical, so I've got some things written down here. I am on a big kick right now for realtors, especially those in my office, to be effective over busy. Busy is worthless. Busy can mean you're doing your laundry all day and you're scrolling on Instagram. Busy is usually wasting time. Busy is you talked to 3 people on the phone today and 2-minute conversations turned into 45-minute conversations. So you were busy. You felt busy. Effective means you accomplish the goals that you set for the day. Not even lists of things. I'm not talking about task lists. I'm talking about effectiveness for what I'm going to break down into the 2 parts of your life, personal and business. And those are the only 2 parts we're going to talk about. And I want to break down each one of those, your personal and your business life. And I want to help you time block them into the 6 periods of your day. I have broken down the day into 6 specific time periods. And we're going to break up personal and business into effective items that help accomplish whatever your goals are for your personal and your life and your business. And we're going to throw these into different times during the day, one of the 6 times, to help you become more effective. So a couple of goals here. We're going to shrink the number of things you do in a day. That's goal number 1, is we're going to stop doing 50 things in a day, and we're going to do 15 things in a day. And that's all we're going to do. So being effective means we cut out crap that doesn't matter. Part of that is delegating. Part of that is passing off tasks that need to get done but are a waste of time. I don't do my yard. Why do I not do my yard? It's not because I don't know how to do my yard. I do my yard better than my yard guy does. But you know what? That's not me being effective. That's me being busy. So I delegate something like that out. That's just an example. So let's begin. And I want to begin by identifying the 6 periods of the day. And we're going to kind of go backwards here because you can mix and match what you call these periods in the day. And so I keep saying 6 because I just want you to split your day up into 6 periods. I'm going to identify my 6 and probably most people's 6, but I understand some of you are night owls, some of you are early morning people. I'm not going to ask you to change up your lifestyle. If you're a night owl, you can make this work. If you're a morning person, you can make this work. If you like to sleep until 9 in the morning, you can make this work. If you get up at 4 a.m., you can make this work. If you don't go to bed till 4 a.m., you can make this work. But let's go backwards. The first thing I want you to schedule in is the number 6 part of your day, which is your sleep. Schedule that first. When are you sleeping? It's a well-known statistic that Americans don't sleep enough. We do not get enough sleep, which leads to all kinds of negative factors in your life. When you don't sleep enough, your body naturally releases more cortisol, the stress hormone, which means your body will eat its muscle and store more fat. You will clearly be tired during the day. Therefore, you will run to foods to try to give you a burst of energy like sugar or different things that aren't good for you. And it just creates this really bad cycle inside of your body, which then makes everything else worse. So I am going to ask you to identify what time number 6 is for you. And I pull out a pen and a piece of paper. Unless you're driving, then don't. But when you stop, pull out a pen, piece of paper, jot it down on your phone, and I want you to write out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to identify the 6 periods of the day. And then I want you to write out number 6 is sleep, and then write down, when am I sleeping? Pretend like you're 4 years old again. Give yourself a bedtime. What is the time that you are going to bed? And what is the time you are getting up? So we're just going to start there because I think from a basic principle standpoint, we need to get that in first. Some of you schedule it last. It's just whatever's left in the day is what you get for sleep. And then you wind up at 4 o'clock yawning like Bailey just did behind the camera. Apparently my podcasts are boring and not intriguing enough for Bailey not to yawn. But that's okay. He probably didn't get enough sleep last night. I don't know. He's shaking his head no. How much sleep did you get last night, Bailey? 5 hours. Yeah, that ain't enough, yo. That ain't enough. Okay. Let's start at my number 1. The number 1 part of the day for me is what I identify as early morning. You might identify this as first morning because I'm breaking your morning up into 2 sections. Number 1 is what I call early or first morning. Number 2 is just morning. Now let me break down how this can work. For me, early morning is all about my personal, emotional health, my mental well-being. And health isn't a good term. I know a lot of psychologists are going to cringe when they hear me say mental health, mental wellness. I know that's kind of the vernacular we're trying to switch to because people think mental health and they think something's wrong with you. Not the case, but mental well-being. My early morning for me is mental well-being, and it's nice outside. So what that means for me is I start my morning off by making a cup of coffee, and I go and I sit on my porch swing in my backyard, and I listen to the birds. And I have a beautiful backyard, especially in the summer. Everything is blooming, the grass is green, the trees are nice and full. I listen to the leaves rustle around a little bit. I don't put my AirPods in. I'm not listening to anything. I am just starting my day with some mental wellness for my early morning. Then from there, after, I'd say I spend about 15 or 20 minutes just sitting outside doing absolutely nothing. Phone is not with me. Phone is inside. I'm completely disconnected from everything but the sounds of what I'm experiencing. From there, I am going back in, and I am either, most of the time I'm listening to a podcast. I'd say 80% of my early morning still I'm listening to a podcast. And that just kind of depends on what I'm feeling that day. I'm subscribed to probably, 25 podcasts or so, ranging from all kinds of different topics. Real estate, business, success, motivation, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Micro Famous, The Dollop. history. I mean, there's just all kinds of different things that I'm listening to. Depending on what I think I need that day is what I'm going to listen to. Gary Vee or Jay Shetty. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that I'm listening to. So depending on how long the episode is, if it's short, I'll listen to 2 or 3 quick podcasts, about 30 minutes of podcasts. Then I'm reading a chapter of a book. And then again, I'm going back outside and I'm relaxing. I'm chilling. That's my early morning. Because for me, my early morning is all about personal. Remember, I told you we're breaking your time up into 6 periods, but we're breaking your day up into one of 2 categories, either personal or business. And that's it. It's one of those 2 things. So for me, my early morning is about my mental wellness, my emotional wellness, and just focusing on me. Now, one thing that I am beginning to do at the latter part of my early morning, and this is a total change up from the past, is I'm going to work out in the morning now. Started this about a week ago. This is brand new for me. One of the things I found is I used to work out either afternoon or night, but my body just is not responding well during those times anymore. I'm getting old, Bailey, and my body does not function well at 9 p.m. in the gym like it used to. So now I'm front loading the morning with nothing but personal. Physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness. Now, I've just given you 2 categories for personal. Physical and mental. Now, I'm going to give you 4 categories for personal, and I'm kind of jumping around all over the place here, which is why I want you to take notes. Up at the top of your notes should be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 time periods. Then below that, give me a big old box for personal, and then below that, give me a big old box for real estate business. Okay? So far, I've asked you to begin your day, and you don't have to begin your day this way. If you want to begin your day with business, go for it. I don't care. It's why I'm telling you to break your day up into 6 different parts, but I'm going to give you the things that need to go in those parts. For me, I start with emotional and now physical wellness to start my day. The other 2 parts of personal that you're going to plug in at some point is spiritual wellness, which is different for everybody. Whether you have a belief system or not, if you're atheist, you still are in tune with something greater than yourself, right? Whether you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim, Hindu, I don't care what your faith background is, spiritual life is very, very, very important. So you need to make space and time for this. And one of the things I can tell you is the times in my life where I have ignored that period or that aspect of my life are the times when I have been at my worst. Now, many of you know my background. I used to be a pastor. I have a couple seminary degrees. I consider myself a very open-minded Christian. But the periods of my life that I have ignored that, my business has suffered, my family has suffered, my mental wellness has suffered, my physical wellness has suffered, my bank account has suffered. So when I'm back in tune with that, and that looks different for me than it will for you, and it looks different for you than it does for somebody else that's listening. Getting in tune with your spiritual wellness is different for everybody, but it's extremely important. So during one of these 6 time periods, I'm going to ask you to plug in some spiritual wellness time into your day. That could be early morning with I know a daily devotional is very important for many of you. So if that's how you like to begin your day, or that's how you feed yourself spiritually, then great. Some of you, that's meditation, it's prayer. There's all kinds of different things. I am not your spiritual guru, and I don't ever want to be that. I've lived that life, not cut out for that world. But whatever's important to you, I'm going to encourage you to plug that into one of your 6 times. The 4th thing for personal, and again, pardon me for jumping around all over the place. This is how my mind works. Hopefully I can put a bow on this in the end to make it make more sense. This is not your 1, 2, 3, 4, not part 4 of your 6 parts of your day. This is the 4th thing for personal life. Remember, I'm breaking your day up into 6 aspects, 6 time periods. And then in those 6 time periods, you're either filling them in with one of the 4 personal items or one of the real estate business items. So I'm about to give you the 4th personal thing that you plug into one of your 6 time periods. And that's fun. fun. Who has time for fun? People who make time for fun. For some of you, business is fun. That's great. For some of you, your fun comes from your personal or physical wellness outings, whatever you're doing. And that's amazing. For me, fun is going on a bike ride with Dash, Katie. It could be playing some Xbox or Switch. It could be for me, and this is kind of emotional wellness and fun tied together, we have a tree swing in my backyard, and I will get on my tree swing, and I will put my AirPods in, and I will jam out to some old school Linkin Park, and just go dead mentally. That's fun for me. I know that's weird, but listen, I'm in my mid-30s now, Bailey. I don't go bar crawling like you do these days. It's just not part of my repertoire of fun. But fun is something I think we believe is meant for kids, and that's it. Like, only children get to have fun. And I do believe, as I have grown in my business, owning a couple of real estate businesses, trying to grow this real estate training side of things that we're doing here, with some big changes coming up, and I'm really excited to announce some of those things because they're going to benefit you. Side note, but as I'm growing business and trying to maintain my physical health, trying to maintain my mental wellness, fun seems to be the thing that disappears. We seem to stop having fun the bigger or the older we get, and the bigger we get too. Let's just be honest. I don't know if you've seen this picture before, but it's like when a little kid is a little kid, their heart is just massive inside of their chest. Like, the drawing of the heart is just, it's gigantic. It's huge. The little kid's got this big old heart and a big old smile on their face too. And then as you get older and older and older, the picture of that heart shrinks and that smile fades and turns into a bit of a frown. I think that is extremely accurate in our Western American society, where we push to grow our bank account, and we push for success, and we push for happiness. All the while, we become more successful and we get more money, but we get less happy because our heart shrinks, and our heart for other people shrinks, and our heart for the world gets smaller, and all of a sudden we stop caring about other people as much as we used to. And fun all but disappears. Fun happens every now and then on vacation. Excuse me, but sometimes vacations are just stressful. So even a vacation isn't fun anymore. So I think that's something that we, especially in real estate, where we are basically on 24/7, we've got to start to schedule time in for fun for ourselves. And you identify what fun is. For some of you, fun works in the morning. Some of you, it works in the evening. That's up to you. But I'm going to ask you to schedule in your personal, those 4 things: physical wellness, spiritual wellness, mental, emotional wellness, and fun. Now let me jump back up to the 6 time periods, because all I've given you is early morning and morning. Let me go ahead and give you the rest of them, and then we'll start plugging in some of this stuff. So number 1 is early morning. Number 2 is morning. So that would be like your time at the office. It's work time, right? For some of you. And again, this is going to be different for everybody, but for me, morning time is, I'm past my early morning routine, which was mental, emotional wellness, and now physical wellness. But now I'm moving into morning, which is work business time. Then you've got number 3, your afternoon time. Typically, you're a little more sluggish in your afternoons. You have eaten lunch and you've had conversations in real estate, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, and you're a little more sluggish. So for most people, you're plugging in things in your afternoon that don't require as much high-level thinking and conversation and dialogue, where you don't have to be on point as much, because you've spent a lot of that effort in the morning. And again, we'll plug and play that here in just a minute. Number 4 is evening time. Number 5 is nighttime. And number 6 is sleep. So let's continue to talk about each particular area as it pertains to personal. Early morning, lots of personal time. Morning, for me, not much personal stuff going on at that point. Every now and then I need to respond to something that Katie or my mom or dad has messaged me about from a personal life standpoint, something to do with my son, but that's really about it. Otherwise, morning is straight up business. Afternoon, for the most part, for me, is a continuation of the morning, straight up business. And we're going to talk about your business tasks here in just a second, because I want to break down the only things that matter in real estate and how we plug those things in. So, but what I do is different than what you're going to do because I don't sell anymore. So you don't need to mimic what my business time looks like, because for me, the only business things that matter for me in my brokerage is recruiting, retaining the people we have, and training them. That's it. Those are the only 3 tasks I have inside of my brokerage. Recruit, train, and retain. Nothing else aside from that matters. It's superfluous. I don't pay bills. I don't write checks. I don't do any of those things. I don't touch a piece of paper. That is superfluous. I delegate that out. I have somebody hired on staff that takes care of those things because those things don't matter to me. For you, we'll get there in just a second. So afternoon for me is very similar to morning. It's still work time. Evening. This is where things really, really can separate between you and I. I'm not doing anything business related most of the time in the evenings. I'm just not. Evening times like here this evening in an hour and a half, I coach my son's basketball team and we have practice at 6:00. So my evening is going to be practice, basketball practice, and then we'll go eat. That's evening for me. For some of you, you are going to be going on, and I need to write this down in my book because I don't know why I left that out. You're going to be going on appointments a lot of times in the evenings because people are going to be getting off of work. They cannot look at a home during the day, but they can look at a home at 6:30. So you are going to have to show sometimes in the evening. Sometimes you're taking clients to dinner in the evening. Sometimes you have events in the community that you've got to go to. You're going on appointments. Nighttime. For me, nighttime can be a mixture of personal fun, but also business, as nighttime is when I am working more on the training, real estate well stuff. And you hadn't heard me say much of the term real estate well. And this is where I'm going to plug where we're shifting a bit. The idea of John Darden coaching is completely disappearing. I just don't like anything that has my name on it where it's about me. It's why my brokerage, when we started, was named Blue Realty and not Darden and Company Realtors. Like, it's not about me. It's about our agents. Training you all and teaching you all is not about me. It's about you. So we are completely shifting our branding over to the idea of a new brand entitled The Real Estate Well. And a well, and this is a total sidetrack here, but in history, a well is the source of life for a community. It's where you go and draw your water to do the things you need to do for the day. And you drew what you needed to live your life, to grow your crops, to cook your food, to clean your clothes, to do all the things that you needed to do. The water was contained in a well, and the community gathered at the well to get what they needed in order to live and thrive and be successful in life. We're taking that idea and saying, okay, look, inside of the real estate well, this is the place for you to come to get everything you need to be a successful realtor, whether it's training, inspiration, motivation, success tools, listing presentations, graphics, social media post and content ideas, scripts, objection handlers, whatever it is. The real estate well is going to be your place to come and gather what you need so that you can go and be successful into the world. So for me right now, nighttime is very much geared towards growing the real estate well. Now that will probably shift as that grows. I will take part number 2, morning, and say that's dedicated to Better Homes, Gardens, Real Estate, Blue Realty. And then number 3, afternoon, is dedicated to the well. Because for me, my evening and nighttime, I want to keep that for personal, for family, for fun, for me. I, as a minister, as a former pastor, you learn really quickly that you can work yourself to death, just like you realize that in real estate as well. And one of my seminary professors told our class one time, I can't remember what the name of the class was, but oh my gosh, she was a brilliant orator and a brilliant communicator. And her encouragement to us was pick 2 times during the day that you're working and take the rest off. So if you've got a really, 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 really busy evening, then take the afternoon off for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to wear yourself out. Anyway, just food for thought. Now let's quickly talk about the business tasks that I think are the most important and the only things that I think you should work on. And I'm adding one thing on here. Here are the things that you need to time block into one of your 6 times. Knowing that some of you aren't going to have an early morning because you're night owls. You may have early afternoon and afternoon. That may be number 1 and number 2 for you. And that's great. If that's you, fine. One of the highest selling agents inside of my brokerage does not get up until like 10 a.m. every day. That's just his routine, but he's up till 2 o'clock every night, and he's working on under contract business details, which is one of the tasks that I think are very, very crucial for you. But for him, he ain't going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to happen. And if he does, he's not going to be engaged. Mentally, he's not going to be in it. He understands his body and his mind and how he works well enough to know that he's going to get up at 9:45, 10 o'clock. And I can't push back on him because every single month he's selling 8, 10, 12, 14 homes. So why on earth would I try to change that? I'd be an idiot to try to change that in him. So he understands himself to know that his early morning, while my early morning may start at 6 a.m., his early morning starts at 10. Whoop-de-doo. I don't care. All I know is you need to split your day up into 6 time periods. You call them what you want. So here are the business tasks. And task isn't a good word. Here are the effective business tactics, maybe is a better word here, that you need to employ in your day. And anything aside from this is superfluous. It's just busy work. Aside from these things. Number 1, you need to take this and you need to plug it into whatever period of the day you are at your best. Because this is your most important business task. Nothing trumps what I'm about to tell you. And that's lead generation. Prospecting, if you like that term better. Having real estate conversations to attempt to find a ready, willing, and able buyer and seller. And this isn't a podcast about how to generate a lead. I've talked about that plenty. I've talked about having conversations and who to have conversations with. If we need to continue to deep dive into that, we will. In fact, I'm sure we will. But your lead gen time is the most important thing of the day. And if you have no idea how to generate a lead, go back a few podcasts and listen to my Explode Blueprint. That will give you 5 business tasks to generate a ready, willing, and able buyer and seller. This is the most important thing you do. Most important, without a doubt. So inside of the lead generation bubble that you're time blocking into one of your 6 times during the day, you are also following up with your hottest leads. So if you've got somebody who's ready, willing, and able, you're following up with that person, touching base with them. I mean, I think that's one of the things that needs to happen first in your business time is who's hot, who's ready to pull the trigger, who is ready, willing, and able to buy, who's ready, willing, and able to put their home on the market, what listings do I have that I need to follow up with, what buyers do I have that I'm showing I need to follow up with. That's part of lead gen for me. It's kind of a separate piece of lead gen, but it still kind of falls under that category because we're following up with them, sending them new homes, touching base with our current listings or somebody that is ready to list their home or almost ready to list their home. But again, if you struggle to generate a lead, go back and listen to the Explode Blueprint episode. It will give you 5 ways to generate a ready, willing, and able buyer and seller. The next most important thing that you do is going on appointments. 4 appointment types. I'm giving you lots of numbers and lots of things. Hopefully this is very tactical and lots of good notes for you today. I'm almost giving you sort of like the blueprint to be a successful agent, but it starts with time blocking into your day. Appointments, 4 types. Listing consultation, so sitting down with somebody who potentially wants to list their home. buyer interview, sitting down with somebody who's ready or potentially ready to buy a home, a showing, a buyer showing, you are showing an approved buyer, or fourth, the worst, but sometimes you have to do a lot of these, any sort of face-to-face appointment that leads to one of the previous three. That could be a lunch or a coffee or a golf outing or a trip to the nail salon, I don't know, getting a pedicure, whatever it is. Something that is going to get you face-to-face with someone in your sphere where they're eventually going to bring up real estate. You don't even have to, because if you're being a good human being, you're engaging in dialogue, you're asking how they're doing. Well, how are you doing? They're going to ask you about real estate. It's just going to happen. Those are the 4 appointment types. Oftentimes, you're going on appointments in the afternoon or in the evening. Again, just the nature of other people's time. When you have clients, you're working on their time quite often. Now, I do think you can kind of control your schedule a little more, but oftentimes, you're working with a teacher or a nurse or a doctor or an attorney or somebody, and they can't look during the day, or they can only look at like after 3 or before they pick up their kids or after they pick up their kids from school or something. So you have to fit in your appointment times to fit within the schedule of what your clients have got. Oh, I'm going to cut that out because I would scratch my nose so bad. Okay. Oh, man, that felt great. So, going backwards, we're generating leads. We're having real estate conversations to find ready, willing, and able buyers and sellers. That's the most important task. You time block that into your most effective brain power time. Then we're scheduling appointments, usually in the afternoon and evenings. If it's summertime, maybe it's at night when it's still daylight, the sun stays up a little bit longer. But usually afternoon and evenings, we are going on appointments. The next daily tactical business real estate step are projects. Now, projects, that's such a general category. A project can be updating your CRM, adding new people you have met, new Realtor.com leads, new open house leads, and putting them into your CRM and setting them up on a drip campaign. Maybe you've got a boomtown or your command center if you're KW or KV Core for EXP, like whatever your CRM platform is. You have got 15 people that you have met over the weekend, and you need to add those contacts into your CRM and get them set up on a drip campaign, which is something that falls through the cracks of a lot of agents. Your CRM can follow up for you if you set it up correctly. That's why we schedule in project time. You schedule in time to take care of those things. Another project could be you're doing a geo farm and you've got to get your next thing sent out, and you've got to get it created, and you've got to get it sent through your company's marketing approval center if there's certain details that have to be on there before you send it out. You've got to come up with some cute giveaway for the teachers at your kiddo's school, or you're going to do a business pop by, and you've got to get that prepped and created and ready to go. Whatever. Those are all projects. You've got to update your boards in your office with your ready, willing, and able buyers and sellers and their names and their time frames. You've got to create content. So I'm doing right now. It's afternoon. I don't do content creation in the morning because I've got other business stuff I've got to take care of that requires a little more of me mentally. And for me, doing this kind of thing just is natural for me, so I don't have to think too hard about this. So for me, I schedule that in the afternoon. But for you, creating content is a project. Maybe that needs to be in the morning. Maybe it's a little harder for you. Maybe you need to do it when your brain is working a little bit better. But that is a project. There's all kinds of projects that have to happen in the business. And these are the things that can help propel your business forward. They can help especially with the next thing that to me has got to happen every single day as a real estate agent, and that's working on your branding. This is updating your social. This is taking people on the journey on your stories while you're showing or while you're doing all of your things, or posting the content you've created during your project time, and getting your YouTube channel going and making sure your LinkedIn is on point and getting things uploaded to Facebook and Instagram. Or maybe you're at a point where you're doing well enough and you can hire somebody to do it for you. Hooray, just did that. Can't freaking wait. It's going to be amazing. Whatever. Branding is so crucial and can propel you forward in the business 10 years if your branding is on point. So I've given you 4 things so far. Lead gen, which leads to appointments, which leads to projects, which leads us to branding, and then the last task, tactical strategy, not task, tactical strategy. There's only 5 that I'm giving you today, only 5. And that's working on your under contract details. You got things under contract you got to follow up with. You got to go over the inspection report with your client. You've got to go over the contracts with your seller. You got to go over this title policy to make sure the Schedule C doesn't have any objections or items that can't be cured so that clean title can't be passed. You got to sit down and make sure that your closing dates on your contingencies line up. You got to do all the paperwork junk that you got to send to the transaction coordinator or your compliance inside your broker so that you can get paid when the contract closes. These are things that suck. That if you can't delegate them, if you don't have an assistant that can take care of this, if you don't have a transaction coordinator that can take care of this, if you don't have a contract to close person that can take care of this, or if you don't want to pay those people and you want to do it yourself, those things can bog you down. But they gotta get done. Those are higher level tasks. They require you focus. They require a lot of brain power. Where are you fitting this into your day? You've got 6 times of your day. One of them is taken up by sleep. So you got 5. What are the 2 or 2.5 that are your business times? When you're working on your UC details, when you're working on your projects, when you're doing your lead gen, when are you going on appointments? When you're working on projects, when are you working on your branding, creating content, posting content. Those are the only 5 things that matter for you in this business. Everything else is superfluous. There are other things that come up. There are other things you got to do. But those 5 things in real estate are the only things you should be doing. Those are the only things you should be scheduling. And you should be scheduling all 5 of those every single day. Every day, you should schedule your lead gen for your best mental time. Every day, you should be going on appointments. Every day, you've got projects you should be working on. Every day, you should be working on your branding. Every day, you should have under contracts that you're working on the paperwork and the details. Now, you tell me, of the 6 times and the 5 that you've got available to you, when are you plugging those things in? That on top of your 4 personal items, your physical wellness, your spiritual wellness, your emotional, mental wellness, and fun. When are those things time blocked into your day? I mean, there's a dozen. When you start to parse some of this stuff out, because some of it branches off a bit, there's like a dozen things you should do in a day. And that's it. That's it. But we try to cram 30, 40, 50 things in one day, and we're worn out, we're exhausted, we're mentally done, we're physically done, we're emotionally done. We don't have time for our families. We can't be present with our kids. We can't do the things we want to do. We don't have any fun because we're trying to do too much. If it's outside of the scope of the things that I have just discussed, you need to ask yourself, should I do this? Should I dump this? Or should I delegate this? If you should do it, it better be really dang important. Because you probably can dump it or you probably can delegate it. It's probably not that important, or there's somebody who can do it just as well as you, or maybe even better than you, and you can pass that off to them for a nominal amount of money so that you can pour into the things that actually matter. I gave you a lot of stuff, a lot, and you get a picture of how my brain works. It's kind of all over the place. But you got 6 times of the day. For me, that's early morning, afternoon, evening, night, and sleep. Night for me, I don't think we talked a lot about nighttime. That is sandwiched with early morning, book-ending personal time. I'm ending my day with some fun. I'm ending my day with Not usually another podcast, but sometimes it's just back in the backyard chilling again. Because that's what I like to do. If it's cold outside, I'll sit in the hot tub. Whatever. Something for me. Start the day for me, end the day with me. Everything else in between is for everybody else. For business, for family, for all the other things that I need to do. When are you time blocking these things into your day? And do you even have these things scheduled in your life? I'm sure there's some things that you might add to this, and that's great. It's your life, it's your schedule, it's your business. I know that these are the things that have to happen. I also know, especially on the business side, if you're doing a bunch of other stuff, you're probably busy and you're not effective. These 5 things make you highly effective. These 4 personal things bring joy to your life. It makes you a better human being. And that's the goal, right? We want joy, we want happiness, we want to be successful, we want to thrive. Stop running around willy-nilly, not knowing what you're going to do. These are the things that matter. Schedule them into your 6 times of the day, set a routine, become habitual, and watch your happiness and your success take off. See you on the next one.